to Atlas Capital for putting on such an amazing event. Look at this venue, y'all. Like, this is incredible. Sorry, moving away. I don't want the podium. Also, a shout out to our retired and active service members in the military, and also to the people that work on this vessel and keep it operating so that we can all come and enjoy it and be part of history. So I didn't really want to talk about politics today, but I'm the only government speaker, so I kind of have to. But also we're just seeing in real life how policy and politics are shaping our investment opportunities and the markets today. So, I mean, the S&P has looked like an oscilloscope lately. It's just ridiculous. I don't engineers get it. So I want to touch really briefly on what we did in the Biden administration to try to make energy investments durable, to crowd in private investment, and what it means now that these once-in-a-lifetime policy levers are activists. So why did we do all this? The first thing was jobs. Really, it was about jobs for real, not just politics. We wanted to create good-paying jobs for Americans. We also wanted to reshore domestic manufacturing in an industry where it made sense. And clean energy, it does make sense to make this stuff here. And third, it was about recognizing the importance of clean energy, reliable, affordable, on the overall economy and our national security. They're all things we don't really argue about, right? So these are the foundations of the bipartisan infrastructure law, which I will call Bill, my buddy Bill, and the Inflation Reduction Act, which we call IRA. At DOE, our mantra was private sector-led, government-enabled. We wanted to make clean energy investments irresistible. I'm channeling the former secretary. It's irresistible to the private sector. So I bet you're wondering how it went. Not everybody knows what we all did. We did amazing things at DOE over the course of a few years. So in January, we celebrated the announcement of nearly 1,000 new or expanded clean energy manufacturing facilities in this country. And that's just manufacturing, right? The dots are all over the map. Then you add all the demonstration, all the deployments, all the state-based stuff that we incentivized. We did so much. But now, a lot of the DOE awards that were promised and under contract are frozen, and companies don't believe that the IRA tax credits that they were promised are going to be there when they come time to claim them. So this has had, as you can imagine, a real dampening effect on the clean energy market. And then there's tariffs. And as we know, that's going to make everything more expensive, and things are going to be really challenging to pencil out. Wait, there's more. Then we have China, and they have put restrictions on export licenses for critical minerals, for which we put in virtually every single clean energy and defense-related product when we manufacture them. So we're a little bit stuck right now. So amidst all this chaos, I wish I could bring a crystal ball and tell you it's okay. Or at least tell you how it's going to pan out at the end, flip to the last page of the book. Unfortunately, I can't do that. I do have some opinion, which I'll share. And I do have some things that we do know for sure. There are some things we do know that are solid. So first, the opinion piece. So Congress right now is more afraid of the president than they are of their voters. They're on record saying this too. I think this is going to shift. I think first quarter 26, when those people get out on the campaign trail, they're going to hear it from voters. And they are going to shift. That's the first thing. Second, I think the administration is going to do whatever they're going to do with the leverage and the tariffs and all of that, and that's going to settle down also first quarter 26. I think we just have to all hold our breaths for a few months to see what the landscape is going to look like for investment. Interestingly, a lot of money that DOE has to give out, what we've awarded, is in red states. 80% of bipartisan infrastructure law investments are to go to red states. All that money's frozen right now, and people are starting to make noise. There are efforts, and there should be more efforts, to make more noise. a lot of noise to members of Congress. All they have to do is say, just do what you said you were going to do. They don't have to do anything else. The money's already there. It's already promised. Just don't mess it up. But Congress needs to step up and say that. So I do know there are a lot of opportunities out there, regardless of all this chaos. So let's focus on these things that we do know. Energy demand is increasing at a rate we haven't seen for decades. We're talking compound annual growth. Firm power is highly desirable. There's still an appetite for low carbon power. We have to invest in substantial grid modernization for energy security.
So, getting back to why we're all gathered here today, recent reports by major investment banks have assumed that the 3C world is inevitable. We're going to hit the 3C mark, Paris Agreement's out the door. All right, let's invest in air conditioning. Now is not the time to think about making a buck on air conditioning. Now is the time to step forward and do something. So, I'm going to tell a little story now, and I have to pace. It's amazing that I stayed in one place this whole time, but now I'm telling a story, so I gotta walk around. So, everyone can play a part. And there is a fable from South America that really relays this idea perfectly. So the fable starts with a giant fire in the jungle, in the forest. And all the animals are just huddled in one area. And they're terrified, they don't know what to do. There's a giant inferno raging around them. And they start noticing this hummingbird flying back and forth, to the fire, away, to the fire, and away. I go, hey bird, what are you doing? What's going on? And hummingbird says, well, I'm taking a droplet of water from this puddle, and I'm taking it to the fire. And so we're like, so what do you think that's gonna do? You're not gonna put out the fire. And the hummingbird said, well, I'm doing my part. I'm doing my part. And that inspired the other animals. Tiny little action inspired the other animals to each play their part, together and alone. They work together, and they survive the fire. Unfortunately, the fable that I read, the fire does burn the forest to the ground, but the animals survived. The moral of that story is that everyone can play a part to make a difference in the world. Now, here's the thing. I'm not looking at an audience of hummingbirds, y'all. I am looking at an audience of Smokey the frickin' Bears with fire hoses. The power in this room is incredible. The power not just to do something, but to inspire others to act. So I'm gonna make a call to action right now. By the end of this week, everyone needs to have one SMART goal. Specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, time-bounded. You can Google it, SMART goal. Of what part you can play to protect the forest. Because y'all, the forest is on fire, and we need all hands on deck, unintended, to take action. That's it.